Hello, everyone. If maybe somebody can give me a thumbs up if the sound's okay. Cool. So welcome to this third session of our monthly mindfulness moments. And I did put a few notes in the chat, but basically just to say, let's keep our mics on mute for now. If we get a chance to have a discussion after the session, then we can unmute and turn our cameras on or whatever we want to do at that stage. I also suggested making sure that you pin the top right-hand corner of my screen so that when we do a bit of a practice just now that you can see the full screen. And then any questions, just plonk into the chat and I'll get to those even if it's after the session. I'll record the session and I'll go through the chats and I can come back to you with any questions via email. So please, if you do, just leave your email in the chat. And then also if you want to be on the mailing list for other upcoming sessions, then just put your email in there and say I'd like to be on the mailing list rather than waiting for a LinkedIn invite. So just those few things in the chat for today. Okay, so I wanted to also start the practice, the session with a little practice, just so that we can become centered and maybe let go of what's happened in the day so far and try to also let go of anything that we still need to do today. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat that can be on a chair, or if you're on the floor like me, that's also fine. And try and lengthen the spine. So when we want to introduce a shift in energy and calmness and allow the breath to flow easily, we want to sit up nice and tall, so lengthen the spine, but the shoulders must be relaxed and even relax around the belly. So we're not trying to sit upright in a formal position. We're just trying to lengthen the spine. Once you've done that, you can put your hands on your laps, either palms facing down or up, depending on what is comfortable for you. And then if it's okay for you to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable with it, then just gently closing your eyes now. And we want to start by just noticing the physical body. So try and bring your attention to your body now. Starting all the way down at your feet. Try and become aware of your toes. See if you can become aware of your toes individually. And then working your way up to maybe your ankles, how the ankles feeling. And the legs. If there are any areas of the body that you notice specific sensations like tightness or aches and pains, maybe an old injury, just pause there for a moment and become aware of what you are experiencing. And then try to set an intention of acceptance. So just really allowing it to be as it is. We don't want to change anything in the moment. We just really want to observe, noticing the body. So moving up the body now. Noticing the sitting bones on the chair or on the floor. Bring your attention to your stomach area. Is it feeling relaxed? Maybe there is some sensations within the stomach. Our digestive system is working all the time, so maybe there is some sensations. And slowly working up to the heart space, the space in your chest. How are the shoulders feeling? Are they relaxed? Or perhaps there's some tightness across the back of the shoulders and the neck. And when you move up to your head and your face area, try and purposefully relax the face. Relax the muscles in the face. Relax the space between the eyebrows. And now, just gently bringing your attention to your breath. Try breathing only through the nose, so in and out of the nose. See if you can hear the sound of your breath. When you breathe in through the nose, you may feel that the breath is cool. And when you breathe out, it's slightly warmer. See if you can notice that. See if you can notice the expansion of the body when you breathe in. And the gentle contraction when you breathe out. Now let's take a nice deep breath in together now. We take a deep breath in through the nose and inside out your mouth. Let's do another one. Nice deep breath in. Inside out. And then slowly, in your own time, you can flicker the eyes open. Okay. So, today's session is all about awakening our intuition and how mindfulness plays a role in that. So we're going to get to talking about that a little bit later. But for now, just in order for us to be more aware of our bodies and to open up the channels of our bodies, we're going to do a slight, just a gentle stretch. So we're going to just do a neck stretch and then an upper body stretch. So again, sitting nice and tall, place your hands on your lap or your knees. And then with the next in-breath, lengthen the spine. Just visualize that you've got a string attached to the crown of your head and it's just pulling it up gently on the inhale. On the exhale, slowly dropping your chin down to your chest as slow as you can. Make the exhale nice and slow. And then inhale, we just bring it back up to the center. And on the exhale, we're lifting the chin up towards the ceiling, up to the sky. And then inhale back to center. And the exhale one last time, slowly down, chin to the chest. Inhale back to center. And last time, the chin lifts on the exhale to the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Just keep your head still for a moment. Again, inhale for length, so lengthen the spine. On the exhale, you're dropping your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Don't pull the shoulder up, let the shoulder stay down. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, left ear drops down to the left shoulder. Feel the stretch in the side neck. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Inhale back to center. And one last time on the left. And inhale back to center, keeping the neck still. Okay, we're going to do a side body stretch. So take your left hand and place it on the side of the chair or on the floor if you're sitting on the floor. So somewhere on the chair, so that your elbow is sort of digging into your side body. And then on the inhale, lift the right arm up as high as you can. So you're really trying to pull the arm almost out of the socket. The fingers are reaching. And then we want to reach over to the side and look under your armpit. We're just going to stay here for 3 nice slow breaths. So you're looking under your armpit, and then you're trying to roll that top shoulder open a little bit towards the back. 3 breaths, keep breathing. And then slowly we come up. The other hand comes down onto the floor or the chair next to you. And then inhale, reach the opposite arm up. On the exhale, it comes across. And then you're looking under your armpit, pushing down into that hand that's on the floor, on the chair. 3 breaths. Rolling this side open now. And then we gently come back to center. Take your hands back to your knees. Okay, so I hope that the body's just feeling a little bit more relaxed and we are centered. And that we are actually feeling a little bit more present and not stuck in our agendas of the day. So let's get into the session, and I want to quickly share with you the stuff that we covered last time. So just a brief sharing of what we had last time. So we've had 2 of these sessions before, and the first session was about mindfulness in general and busting a few myths about mindfulness, what it is and what it's not. So we spoke about mindfulness and the perception that it's all about meditation. And we spoke briefly about the fact that it's not about meditation. Meditation is one aspect or one type of practice to strengthen your ability to be more mindful and live a more conscious existence. So it's like we want to be fit and healthy in our life. So we do physical exercise as a practice to get there. It's the same as meditation. It just strengthens your ability to be more aware in the day-to-day moments throughout the day. So we just spoke a little bit about that. We also had some other myths about mindfulness that we covered in that session. If, for example, mindfulness means that you completely empty your mind. So people picture meditation poses and they assume that the minds are empty, and that's not the case. What it is noticing the experience that you have, whether it is in a meditation or just in day-to-day life. So if it's in the meditation or if you're sitting in stillness, it's just noticing what comes up, whether that's thoughts or bodily sensations. So it's not about trying to empty the mind. It's more about paying attention. And then also there is no right or wrong. People say, I don't know about mindfulness, or I don't want to do meditation because I don't really know how to do it. There isn't really a right or wrong. It's just about paying attention. And the meditation part is just about sitting still, observing your body, your breath, like we did just now. Mindfulness per se has no religious connotations. Yes, there is some origins in terms of Buddhist teachings and principles, but mindfulness is a completely secular practice. And mindfulness is not just a private thing at home. Mindfulness has huge benefit throughout your life, and in work and at home and with relationships. So we spoke a bit about that. At the second session, we spoke specifically about mindfulness and its contribution as a facilitator of mental health within the workplace. And the key messages there were about the fact that when you practice mindfulness, when you become more self-aware, what naturally happens is you become more aware of others, right? So within that, we start to build a level of self-compassion that perhaps wasn't there before, or we enhance our self-compassion. And again, without even trying, that compassion starts to spill over to others, so that in the workplace you start to see improved relationships. And then obviously, if you do a regular mindfulness practice, you start to appreciate the need for regular self-care. And whether that self-care is doing a daily walk, or sitting quietly somewhere, or getting a book and reading on your own somewhere, you just start to realize that self-care is vital and crucial to our overall well-being. So what that happens in terms of the workplace is that people start to say, wow, I actually need this time for self-care. I can't be sitting at work until 10 o'clock at night, or sitting at home working until 10 o'clock. I need time. I need to prioritize self-care, and therefore a better work-life balance. But obviously the organizations themselves play a significant role in the mental health of individuals. It's not just a responsibility of the individuals, it's a responsibility of community, of organizations, to promote mental health, to take the stigmas away, and to encourage open discussion. So from a leadership point of view, we spoke specifically about organizations looking closely at their practices and their policies, their terminology specifically, and trying to shift the culture to one where people are more mindful of their self-care and their work-life balance, and moving away from organizations where they try and get every last bit out of their employees. Burnout happens. So subtle things, even terminology. So some of the organizations I've worked with, I've said to them, scan all your documentation, particularly your HR documentation, and get rid of terminology that says going the extra mile, or giving 110%, or we need you to be an excellent multitasker, because all of those things encourage people to focus on work, and not introduce the necessary self-care, and not take breaks, and feel guilty if they are not feeling good, is that they think that they just need to work through it. So there are things that the organizations can do that are quite simple, but have a significant impact on the culture. So those are the things we covered in the first two sessions. And then today's topic is about awakening our intuition. I want to see if I can quickly play for you there is a docu-series that's coming up, and I've seen some snippets of it. Here we go.
We're all equally powerful. You have been programmed not to have power.
It wasn't always this way. The taboo is partially an outgrowth of the Enlightenment, when the church and science split.
Everyone has a sense of intuition. It's just a matter of how much do you choose to listen to it.
Although it's become language as our sixth sense, this is our first sense.
It's very, very rare to find anywhere in the world using scientific approaches to studying these phenomena, even though most people actually have these experiences.
How much time do we spend exploring what's within?
Empathy, feeling what others are feeling through the magnetic, energetic interactions. These are all examples of energetic sensitivity.
You are an intuitive being. That is your birthright.
This is something that's actually testable.
It's about our human evolution. This is why it's so important in today's world that we get on track with our deeper intelligence.
Maybe you've experienced where you were totally at a loss and synchronicity started to pop up everywhere.
We don't have to connect because we're automatically connected.
Here we are, like a speck of dust in all of this, with our own channel to the divine.
Western education and Western religion tend to deny our own internal intuition and our own deep validity.
Let's change the culture that looks at it as some kind of a problem.
This is a very empowering understanding, but it calls us to accept our responsibility joyously as co-creators of our realities, and therefore responsibility for how we are with the world.
Okay, so I wanted to just share that with you to get into the topic about intuition and awakening our intuition. So let's talk a little bit about intuition. And I know that this could be quite obvious to you. However, it's worth just exploring what we mean by intuition. So people will talk about gut feel, talk about instinct. People will talk about their sixth sense, or maybe even déjà vu. And what are those sensations or these inner voices and guidance that we get? So that is really what we're trying to tap into. And the voice of intuition is not something that comes from our heads. Our heads are accumulation of acquired knowledge, all our experiences, the teachings of others, perhaps the parents, other caregivers, other teachers in our schooling and in our careers. So we accumulate all this knowledge and over time we form certain principles and patterns and belief systems. That is not our intuition, albeit that could be valuable. There's some value in everything that we've learned. But it also includes a whole lot of conditioning, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and other defense mechanisms in order for us to survive. So the head is not where we're looking at. We're looking at a space that's in our heart or gut space, and that's where the intuition comes from. So, you may have experienced a sensation where you suddenly had this feeling to look somewhere, look out the window perhaps, and there was this amazing rainbow that you didn't know it was there, but there was a feeling, an instinct to look. That is what we're talking about. Sometimes that feeling, that sudden urge to do something actually is about avoiding danger. So this inner wisdom that we have within us is there for everybody, and it's inner wisdom that we can all tap into. The mindfulness aspect of it is over time, and if you remember from the previous sessions, over time, when you practice mindfulness, although the thoughts don't disappear, we learn how to not get involved with the thoughts. We have thousands and thousands of automatic thoughts that come into our mind, many of them irrational because of our experiences and conditioning. And they sometimes hook us, and then thoughts trigger emotion, and emotion triggers behavior. Through mindfulness practices, we almost can see the thoughts at a distance. and we can choose not to get involved in it. Not always, it's not 100%, it's not an exact science, but the more we practice mindfulness, the more we stay in the present moment and say, okay, I can see you thought, but I'm not going to get involved. The more we have that ability to put the chattering mind almost aside and say, I can see you, you're going on, but I'm not getting involved. And so therefore, your head, which is where a lot of the noise is, can be quieter. It's almost like somebody else is talking somewhere, right? And unfortunately, the head is so loud, and the voice of intuition is it's almost a whisper. So we quieten the head, and this allows us to hear the intuition, hear the voice of inner guidance. And the answers and the guidance we get from intuition is always going to be true to us. It's untainted by experiences. It's untainted by external influences or external expectations. It's not about what other people want from you. It's what's good for you. It's about guiding you to what is best for you. So we can practice through mindfulness to quieten the head, which is almost like a bully. It bullies the intuition, says, I'm louder than you, I'm going to keep you quiet. We can practice to let the mind be quieter, awaken the intuition, and receive this inner wisdom that we all have. And usually it's quite profound. It's quite profound, particularly in situations when we really, really need it. When I practice, particularly for awakening my intuition, I might come to a meditation, but during that, let's just say there are some big decisions I need to make in the next couple of weeks or in a while still, I may come to a meditation to still the body, still the mind, become more open and more relaxed. But I don't specifically ask the questions of myself in the meditation. I don't say, what is the answer? Do I need to take this job or that job? I just open up the channels and I'll invite my intuition to become heard. And sometimes the answers usually don't come in that meditation, it comes at another time. And therefore it's important to stay present throughout your day, stay aware, trying not to get sucked into yesterday's issues and mistakes and regrets, and trying not to get stuck in tomorrow's anticipation of tomorrow or the dread of tomorrow or whatever it is of tomorrow, to try and stay in the present moment, because that is when the intuition and the voice of your inner wisdom becomes heard. So it's about being open and being present, quietening the head, realizing and accepting that you've got, and it's not that anybody has got better intuition than anybody else. We all have great inner wisdom that's perfect for us. So we all have it, we can all access it, but we do need to practice the being present, and we do need to do our best. There's a plane flying over my house. We have to do our best to not get involved in the thoughts that are occupying our minds, because then we won't hear it. We won't hear that intuition. So those are the key things. And in terms of intuition and where it plays a role, it's not just in our private lives. So for example, when I work with leadership in organizations, what I encourage them to acknowledge is that there comes a time when all the external knowledge, your own external knowledge that you've gathered through your experiences and studies and learning, all of that, all the data in front of you, all the external consultants and wise people that you tap into, there comes a time when all of that reaches a point of diminishing returns. It's not going to give you the answer anymore. You've got all that, you've got it in your head, you've got it at your disposal, There comes a time when you need to, as somebody in a leadership position, you need to make a call, you need to make a decision that comes from deep within. And if you look at some of the top organizations and their leadership, they use mindfulness and they use intuition for these significant decisions. And the answer comes to them, right? Because often all the data is there, but you still don't know. Now what do I do? Because there's so many risks, there's so many options, or there is not enough clarity that comes from the discussions and the analysis of data. So intuition is not just for your personal lives and your personal decisions. It plays a key role in business and in leadership and decision making. Okay, so that's like my little take on intuition and how we can access it. So I wanted to share that with you. And then the next thing that I want to do is do another practice with you. And I quite like this sort of breathing practice, but there's a bit of visualization in it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 5 seconds, and we're going to hold the breath for 5 seconds, and we're going to exhale for 5 seconds, and then we're going to hold on empty for 5 seconds, right? So it's called, some people call it square breathing, because you can visualize it in a square. If you have any heart issues, then try not to hold the breath for too long. Just breathe nice and slowly. So we're going to do that. But the visualization part is the sun. So what we're going to do is when we are starting to breathe in, we visualize the sun at the horizon at sunrise, right? So as we breathe in for the 5 seconds, we visualize it coming up to the midday sun, so directly above us, and we're holding the breath at the top. As we release for 5 seconds, we visualize the sun coming down to hit the horizon at sunset, and we hold there for 5 seconds as the sun then goes behind the earth, so in darkness, and then we breathe in again from the sunrise up to the midday sun. So let's just try that. So sitting up nice and tall, you're welcome to close your eyes, but you don't need to see anything. Rather focus on the visualization. So sitting up nice and tall, relax the shoulders. Let's just take a normal inhale and exhale to prepare. So nice natural inhale and exhale. And with that visualization now, breathing in nice and slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, the sun's at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, release now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The sun's now sitting at the horizon, and hold on empty. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the sun comes all the way back to sunrise again, breathing in slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Hold your breath. The sun's at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release the breath all the way down to sunset. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on empty. The sun is now behind the earth. We're in darkness. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow breath in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on empty. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just breathe normally. Keep the eyes closed for a moment. Okay. You're welcome to open your eyes. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I do. So I teach yoga, I teach mindfulness, I facilitate mindfulness workshops. I do individual healing with people that struggle with anxiety, depression, addiction recovery, using mindfulness, yoga, breath work, and my counseling training. I have a program called Journey to Joy. My next one starts in next week. If there's anybody that wants to be a late joiner, there's still spaces. It's a 10-week part-time program that you can do in your own time. There's a virtual option as well as a face-to-face one for Cape Town people. So there's a virtual one for anybody anywhere in the world. So you can contact me if you want to find out more about that. It's a self-discovery, self-healing program. I do pro bono counseling and I do pro bono online mentoring. I work with organizations around burnout prevention, burnout recovery if it's already happened. Work with leadership about using mindfulness in terms of leadership development, team building through using mindfulness practices. And then I also offer my services as an independent mindfulness officer. Some of the big organizations have got mindfulness officers now, like SAP and Google. But obviously not all organizations are going to have that role as a full-time role. So I offer my services as an independent mindfulness officer that can come in and get the process started, get some practices started, get some groups started, get some philosophies in place. So those are the things that I do. Okay, so I want to end the practice with another breathing exercise, and then we can say bye and head off into the day. So this practice requires a little bit of space for the arms. So if you're sitting in a chair with arm rests, maybe sit a bit forward. If you're sitting on the floor, it's totally fine. So what we're going to do is when we breathe in, we're going to lift the arms up. And when you lift the arms up, your fingers must be reaching for the ceilings. Picture that you're trying to lift your body, your upper body out of your hips, because we sit heavily in our hips and the hips take a lot of pressure. So we want to try and relieve that a bit. So we're going to breathe up with our arms. And then when we exhale, we're just going to bring our hands down to our heart space and then inhale up. The exhale must be nice and slow. Okay, so let's start. Our hands on the sides. And then take a nice deep inhale, almost a pause at the top as we try and stretch our bodies out of our hips. And then a very slow exhale as we bring our hands down to our heart. This is not a prayer position, it's just really an energy movement. And then inhale up. And exhale nice and slowly as the hands come past your face to your heart space. Inhale, reaching up. Try and really come out this time, out the hips. And then slow release, exhale down. Always through the nose we breathe in. Inhale up one last time. Let's hold the breath at the top. And then slowly exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's give the hands a bit of a rub, get some energy into the hands, some heat, some friction. And then just place that heat, that energy onto your heart space, onto your chest. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. And then we can put your hands down. Okay, so that is it, guys. We just had 45 minutes. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm glad that you joined, and I hope you enjoyed the practice. And we'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day.